So joining us now on Stories Trending Around the World is the Queen of Umukwata herself.
I haven't heard that in a while. How are you this morning?
Good to see you.
Good morning, Rufai.
Good.
Lady in red, looking so lovely.
Your favorite color.
Do you know how you bright up the morning?
Thank
how are
you
you?
very much. I'm
Perfect.
doing good.
Our favorite Niger wife.
When Rufai said the Queen of Umukwata, I wanted to just add.
Can you?
No, it's good to see you smiling.
Yes. These guys have been keeping me cheery and happy. Thank you. Well, all right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending with a devastating attack in Borno State, which is demanding urgent attention as suspected Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists on Wednesday launched a coordinated assault on the 82 Division Task Force Battalion military base in Ngoshe community, Gwoza local government area of the state, abducting more than 100 women and children, burned down homes, armored vehicles and businesses. Many residents have fled to nearby towns, living in Ngoshe, largely deserted. Senator Ali Ndume of Borno South has confirmed the attack, urging intensified military operations in Sambisa Forest and Mandara Mountains to curb the resurgence of insurgency.
We need your prayers. It's not easy.
More displaced Nigerians, 100 women and children abducted in the night while the nation sleeps. Nigerians are asking a very simple question. How do terrorists move over 100 people out of a community that has a military base without interception? Meanwhile, ISWAP has claimed responsibility for a deadly raid on Kirshinga, a predominantly Christian community in Maiduguri local government area of Adamawa State on February 24th, killing at least 25 to 27 people, including soldiers and civilians, and burning at least 10 homes to the ground. In a deeply alarming development, ISWAP issued a direct ultimatum to the surviving Christian community to convert to Islam, pay a religious tax known as Jizya, or face death. The terrorists were said to have arrived on motorcycles and overwhelmed local vigilantes and soldiers. The violence has drawn international attention, with United States Congressman Riley Moore condemning the attacks as targeted religious persecution and calling for conditional U.S. aid tied to stronger protections for Nigerians. And I'll read Riley Moore's post on X. He wrote, "Christians continue to be explicitly targeted for their faith in Nigeria. ISIS West Africa is slaughtering Christians and telling other Christians they must convert or die. In our report to the White House, we made it clear that increased American support is contingent on the Nigerian government doing more to defend Christians. Now is the time for Abuja to step up. Convert, pay, or die." This is the ultimatum being issued to Christians on Nigerian soil in 2026. This is not just a security crisis. It's a humanitarian emergency. Now, the federal government's response must match the scale of the threat. Really. Meanwhile, heartbreaking images are emerging from Wukari and Taraba State, where a devastating fire completely destroyed St. Mary's Catholic Cathedral, the seat of the Catholic diocese in Wukari, on Wednesday night. The blaze gutted the entire structure, collapsing the roof and reducing the multi-million naira cathedral to ruins. Let's take a look.
Sadly, this is St. Mary's Cathedral, Wukari. And as you can see, the whole roof is completely raised, and some of the pews were rescued. And that's about the most that the people who came early could do. So currently some of the pews are burning inside, and the whole roof is gone. With time we'll find out the cause of the fire outbreak. But at the moment, this is the situation, and this is the condition of the Cathedral of St. Mary's, Ukari. So please, continue to pray for us, and let's hope that things get better someday.
By the cause of the fire is still officially under investigation, with some reports pointing to an electrical fault following a power restoration, while others on social media have alleged arson. Now, no lives were lost, and for that, the community is grateful. We'll continue to follow up on the story, and in that fire was quite alarming, and I'm sure our viewers would agree it was quite shocking to see. Like I said, many users on social media have alleged arson. Some people have, blamed jihadists for this fire. But I'd like for you to summarize the stories that I have brought forward this morning. We're hearing 100 women and children have been abducted in Borno State. Children, women, some of them pregnant. And we're seeing our Nigerians displaced. Now they're going to obviously join the IDP camps. And also we're hearing, these jihadists. It's not the first time we're hearing. I believe last week or 2 weeks ago, we did take another story of ISWAP demanding that Christians convert, pay taxes, or die.
Oji, these numbers for me never... They never make me feel numb. Every single time I hear more numbers, it's like the first time, because every week we hear hundreds. In the beginning you would hear maybe 20 or 30, but consistently now you find that when these incidents happen, it's 100 or more displaced, killed, slaughtered. And what's heartbreaking is that we don't get to follow these stories to a conclusive end, in that we do trace the stories, but in essence, these people have total impunity in our ungoverned spaces. And you ask yourself, how is it that we still have ungoverned spaces in this day and age? The new IGP Inspector General of Police, was sworn in just yesterday, and he really has a tall order. But we continue to ask ourselves again around the conversation of, is it terrorism or is it crime? Where do the two intersect? Because we know that if it's crime, it's for the police. If it's terrorism, it's for the army. But in this instance, we're seeing neither police nor army, there's just simply nobody available. Because you wonder, how is it these massive communities, huge numbers of people are moved? You hear the attacks go on throughout the night. I was listening to Dr. Abati speaking, I believe it was yesterday, when he was saying that often there's so much bureaucracy from the time you announce that there's a crime before they can deploy and so forth. But our security infrastructure just needs a total reset. And I'm glad that the IGP's agenda is firmly set on state police. The president is also set on state police. The National Assembly have been given the mandate to move swiftly through those provisions. And it's because of instances like this. When you look at some of the security reports, they say that these crises and these violence incidents have now taken on a new shape, which is that you have jihadists and you have bandits are now having their own turf wars in some of these areas. In fact, the reports say that if you look at the Nigeria, Niger, Benin border areas, attacks from 2024, 2025 to present have gone up by 86%. The death toll has gone up by 262% in this period. It shows you that they're consolidating. So we just totally need to throw away what we know as security right now and create a new security infrastructure, because clearly what we're doing now, they say insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting a different outcome. So it's now time for us to start on a new page and see whether state police is going to be the silver bullet that will be able to start making an impact with regards to securing Nigerian lives and property.
Yes, very well said, Vimbai, very well said. 100 women, children are out there at this moment. We are definitely understaffed. We've seen the numbers of, our security architecture. And, hopefully the state police intervention may help. Meanwhile, a soldier Lance Corporal Rotimi Olamilekan, serving with the 81st Division Task Force Battalion in Maiduguri, Borno State, has reportedly been held by the military after posting a video calling on politicians at all levels to have their own sons enlist with the army or with the Nigerian police force. Olamilekan was reportedly arrested earlier in February and has allegedly not been able to access legal representation. Let's take a look at the video.
Please, can we do this in Nigeria? Before any governor or any minister or any senate or any house of representative or even the chairman, before they came into position, please let them be nominating one of their sons. Your son must become a military or a security member, not an officer cadre in the security. It will be among the other rank, so that they can be able to feel it like the same way the other ones they are feeling it. You know, if you are still in officer cadre, you can still be seen. You may not be going to some places. But being in that other rank, you will see that so many people that will not contest. So let's do this. Let's do it. If it can be able to work, it's just a suggestion. Who am I?
Well, reports state that Olamilekan had been fighting on counterinsurgency teams within the military for over 4 years without being promoted. Rufai, we are seeing here Lance Corporal. We have not gotten any official report from the military as regards to his whereabouts or whether or not he is, still under detention. But he is within his right to call on anyone to enlist in the police force. I think is within his right. But I mean, there are some codes, the military codes. I'm sure you are aware of some of these codes that you can make some comments as a soldier. But this is, I think, freedom of speech. Your thoughts?
So what they will say is there are codes that bind them. And, the military have been talking about men serving on the front and the use of social media. And they've been talking about this for a while. So they are going to invoke all of those codes. But the question is, what is it that Olamilekan said that is wrong?
I don't know. See,
in medieval times, if Nigeria was to be in medieval times, do you know the people that will be leading the battle? It's people like the president. He will have to, in fact, for him to be a president then, he must have been battle tested. I mean, the likes of people like Attilas of this world, the Genghis Khans of this world, who were they? They had military valor. So they will be the ones that will lead the line as regards this. Haven't you wondered that till date, the British royal family still ensure that some of their male sons still serve in the military? Do you know the reason for that? Because leadership must also be the one to protect the people. But today, we don't have that. And why is he saying that? Because of the pain police officers and military officers go through and lack of welfare. While I was here, somebody sent me a message about some police officers not being paid, I think their pension or something. And they go through all of this stress and they get killed in the war front. And they're so quick to say their family members should leave the barracks. Look at what happened. People were attacked in a barrack. The soldier dies. What happens to their family afterwards? Nobody cares. We just so move on, and we are quick to move on. But what he's saying is very apt, that maybe if the leaders that are enjoying the largesse, that are flying the private jet, that are living the good life, maybe if they can only feel what the people on the battlefront are feeling, then life will be a whole lot better. Yes, some people will say it's calling for mandatory conscription, it's not supposed to call for that and all of that. Apart from all of that, we know they have a code. But sometimes you wonder, just imagine, people like Olamilekan not being promoted. He earns next to nothing. But it is this in the same country that the NNPC used 5 billion to rebrand and just change name. We're talking about 210 trillion. Just 36 million were used to fund healthcare. Today, you just brought a story about over 100 people kidnapped again.
Yes.
The question I would like to ask this government is, do we even have a director of the people kidnapped? Because till date, Oji, we stopped talking about those that were kidnapped in Woro, in Kwara State.
Yeah, they're still there, out there.
We've not talked about people that were kidnapped in January and multiple kidnapping. So do we even have a record? And for me, boots on the ground is good. But when state police starts, you will see that state police is not really the solution. We need to be able to invest in intelligence and reconnaissance. But how do you invest in intelligence where there's complicity across board? Till today, we've been asking, who are those that instructed the military to leave 30 minutes before the Kebbi girls incident happened? Nothing. Till today, the government is saying that they don't pay ransoms. But foreign media is giving us facts and giving us resource to the effect that they pay ransom. So we don't have transparency and clarity in all of this process. And that's why Olamilekan is saying, and he's speaking for all of us, because I will say what Olamilekan is saying. The only difference is I am here, but he's in the military. Yeah. I'm not a soldier. No, maybe if they can bring their own children to come and feel what the soldiers are feeling. I know he's going to suffer for whatever I said, but Olamilekan, you are indeed a true hero, and you speak for all of us.
I mean, I am also here advocating for more boots on ground. We need state police. I'm for state police because I've seen it work. We need more military intervention. We also need more soldiers to battle the insecurity we're facing in Nigeria. Now, let's highlight this deeply troubling case out of Ikorodu in Lagos State. A primary school teacher, Mrs. Rukayat, is crying out on social media saying that she's facing the possibility of life imprisonment over allegations that she defiled a 3-year-old female pupil in October 2021. The case, which has stretched on for over 6 years, began when Rukayat was reportedly 3 months pregnant. Well, in a video now circulating on social media, Rukayat stated that she suffered a miscarriage while in detention, which she says was caused by torture and starvation, and appealed directly to the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Attorney General of Lagos State, and the Director of Public Prosecutions to come to her aid, saying that she is innocent.
Attorney General of Lagos State, DPP department, help me. I am innocent. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, help me. Oh, Mrs. Babajide, help me. Oh, I'm innocent. I'm also a mother. I'm a mother of 2. I have experienced childbirth twice. Concerning this case, I lost a whole pregnancy. Nobody is looking towards that pain. A 3-year-old girl recalled that I was the one who of her clothes rubbed her chest region and inserted pyro into her vagina. And anybody who commits this kind of a sin should be punished under section blah blah blah. Ambassador Rukayat Tobiloba shall be prosecuted to life imprisonment. This is 6 years, 6 good years. They removed the school. They removed Toluwani. They removed the proprietor. They removed the driver. They now hold me responsible. They hold me responsible. It's because they see me less among them. They see me as someone who has nobody. He shared 20,000, a work of 20,000. Want to send me to life imprisonment. I can't even afford any lawyer, any payment again. I can't afford it. I need my freedom. I want my freedom back. Please, please, help me. Have mercy. They brought half story to your table. This is the story, guys. Help me. Help me. Thank you so much.
All right, this was a lengthy video, Ayo. I mean, she had alleged that the allegations started in the school. There were, conversations on whether it was the driver that defiled the young girl. I mean, the details are quite gory. But also, I mean, this case raises serious, uncomfortable questions about the reliability of evidence, the shifting of accusations, and the integrity of the investigative process. A woman who was pregnant at the time, who lost her baby in detention, who has now spent 6 years fighting for her freedom, while all other suspects had been discharged. Lagos State authorities must ensure justice in this case, and this is what we're asking for here. I mean, your thoughts? And life imprisonment, I don't know how it measures with the defilement as well, if you can help.
As part of the Lagos State law, defiling a child maximum sentence, if you follow the story, and it's often said that the cases of rape, child defilement could be one of the most difficult cases to prove because of the evidence required to prove the case. This 6-year case started with the defilement of a 3-year-old child while in school. And so there are a number of issues around even the story in itself. We've had one too many stories of children as young as 2 years old, 3 years old, being defiled by the very people who are supposed to protect them whilst in school. Remember the infamous case of the Christian teacher and the 2-year-old girl who was defiled. He was eventually found guilty. He was a pastor. He was pious. So what I'm trying to say is that the face of a defiler is not someone, is not regular. Sometimes there are people who are, people who are meant to be upstanding citizens. I say this to say that whilst we encourage detailed investigation so that all parties are fairly heard and that justice is served, but we must get to the bottom of this. One of the things I'd like to raise this morning is not just for Lagos State, but across all the states in Nigeria. Can we do more in protecting, in child protection of our children in school to ensure that we don't hear cases of defilement by the people who are supposed to protect them? Number 2, I believe that this case would have been easier solved if we had child protection procedures in the school whereby they would ascertain who was with the child at a particular time. The way the story has been going, merry-go-round, is because they don't even have the details of who was supposed to be with the child. First was the head teacher. He claimed, he wasn't in school. Then was the driver. They claimed the driver was never, alone with the child. It is traumatizing to ask a child to give an account of such an event. And yes, a 3-year-old. And that's why her story has shifted and moved many times. You cannot expect a child, especially in the face of intimidation, adults questioning and questioning, to remain in one place. It's very difficult. That's why it's a very sensitive case. I hope the Lagos State government, which they have proven very good in investigating matters like that, kudos to DSVA, but I hope that justice will be served. It's not about coming to cry on TV, with all due respect to the woman, but I hope that they would investigate and the person who is responsible for the defilement of the child would not go scot-free. That's what we're asking for.
I mean, I think that her advocacy is quite apt. She can cry as much as she wants, Ayo. Can you imagine facing such a terrible, terrible thing if you are innocent? Like we've called on this table, we need investigation. I've highlighted this video now for the authorities. But still in Lagos, a content creator, Somto Okonkwo, is raising awareness on the scale of homelessness and the extent of drug use in a community along a railway near Oshodi. In a video now making the rounds on social media, young men are seen sleeping on tracks, living under the train's platform, with some suffering from severe drug addiction. Let's take a look.
Along the railway, hidden in plain sight, a community of homeless individuals seek refuge, struggling with addiction and forgotten by many. These are people living on the edge of the society. Their only shelter the streets beside the tracks they once dreamed of escaping. So the only way to wake them up is by giving them a slap.
Jay! Wake up!
This is actually the most saddest thing I've ever seen.
Okay, so if the railway is passing this out, I'm going to go faster.
I met this girl, a lifelong resident of this hidden place. She is a drug addict. Alone, her family is unaware. Trapped in a life most of us never see. I had to bring her story to life.
Can you talk? What's your name? What's happening with you?
I don't know.
Have you been taking any medication? How do you think that we can help you right now? What do you need?
Due to her inability to speak, she only mentioned that her belly hurt so bad.
She used to take some drugs. It's the drugs that is affecting her. She can't walk. She can't.
According to what one of the guys told me, Due to her inability to walk or stand up, most of the boys under the bridge take advantage of her at night when she sleeps.
Many of us don't have work. Many of us don't have house. Many of us we are sleeping outside with the children and the wife.
Kimbai, this story broke my heart. We're yet to see an official response from the Lagos State government regarding the content of this report. But this video is shocking as it shows an entire generation of young Nigerians who seem to have been forgotten. Meanwhile, a trending video showing young boys believed to be Almajiri children with a drug locally known as sholisho has sparked outrage online, renewing concerns about child neglect and substance abuse on the streets.
Wallahi yau ai irin inda ina ganin wallahi da jikina ma ni ya mutu zai da yake shege shekaran ka 15 kana shan sholi kai fa baka san shekara ka nawa ba to ya ka sani wannan ma wuce wanda ai wannan yaran ai bai kai ko 13 wannan.
These are children. These are children. Sholisho is a glue often used by vulcanizers to patch bicycle and motorcycle tires and is labeled by manufacturers as a hazardous and potentially deadly if swallowed. Many of the children seen using it appear to be of primary school age, raising questions about child protection and long-term societal risks of widespread drug abuse amongst minors. Meanwhile, the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, on Tuesday, highlighted the dangers of alcohol consumption for young people.
Violence is a major factor, alcohol drinking in youth, major factor in youth suicides, homicides, and motor vehicle crashes or accidents. Risky behavior is strongly linked to unprotected sexual activity, unwanted pregnancies, and sexually transmitted diseases. Academic problems. Drinking often leads to lower grades, missed classes, and impaired cognitive function. In our country, it is responsible for banditry. It is responsible for kidnapping. You cannot be in your right mind and point a gun at somebody. It starts from alcohol and then goes on to hard drugs.
I mean, she has highlighted the dangers of drug use, but, people online have, questioned how, alcohol is responsible for banditry. I don't know if she, really meant to say that, but the dangers of alcohol is glaring. And this idea of drug abuse among our young children, I also want you not to forget the first story that we took about this community near the rail track in Oshodi.
All right. Well, I'll start with the NAFDAC DG, who started very well, I believe, in that statement. And then when it landed, she landed in somewhat of a contentious place. But what I'm going to attempt to assume she was referring to is the main point, Oji, that you've brought today, which is that there is a lost generation, a forgotten generation of young people. Now, what is going on? There's unemployment, there's high cost of living, lack of opportunity. You have young people who are out of school, and they say the idle mind is the devil's playground. You see it not just happening in Nigeria, it's happening across the world right now, where there is a young generation which is just very quickly wasting away due to substance abuse. And because of the poverty, the lack of employment and so forth, the substances that are available are the cheapest on the market. So each country has its own, easily accessible drugs or, alcoholic beverages and so forth that are consuming, and they are highly, highly addictive. In many instances, they call it, this is happening in the United States as well with the fentanyl crisis, and they'll say, they've stuck because those young men on the railway, I think the term they would use is that they've stuck, or the person is sticking. And I think what just breaks my heart is that, we spend a lot of time debating politics. We spend a lot of time debating defections. We spend a lot of time, but we're not taking time on governance, because this is purely a result of poor governance, lack of governance, attention, because again, if there is employment, if there is access to opportunity, if one can realize their potential, yes, it still happens in developed countries, but I'm saying it's more rampant in places where you see that a young person's opportunity is hindered.
This is a big story, so I just want a quick sentence.
Absolutely. We have, so I believe when Professor Day, where she was speaking, was to advocate for the ban on sachet alcohol, just putting her point forward that alcohol or the use of alcohol, especially by underage children or easy accessibility to it, has caused a lot of ills in our society. And that's what she was speaking about. And we cannot deny this. We see people on our streets. Don't forget crime rates, not just in Lagos, but across the places where we've seen this. This is our future. The president keeps talking about how the young population in Nigeria is our greatest asset. It means that we are eroding our greatest assets. Very sad.
So in all of this video, Oji, I'd like to pose a question. Where are the social service workers that are supposed to be funded by governments, that run the homes, that run the rehab centers, that take these people in and rehabilitate them? So where are the social services? You know why? Because there's no budgetary funding for them. How will you fund social service when you just only spend 36 million naira on capex for health?
I mean, I'd like to...
That's the social service center. Where are they? Who is funding them? You see, the reason why, because I play in this sector, I have done a lot of rehab work for people that are using drugs, and I worked extensively with Pastor KG Hamilton, you know, KG from the fella from It's only the private sector, the churches,
Very good.
the religious bodies are the ones doing the work.
Very good.
So where are the government-owned sectors? This is a conversation we should have, the social service sectors.
Thank you, Rufai. And I also like to thank Somto Okonkwo for highlighting this deeply troubling story coming out of Oshodi in Lagos. Let's now highlight the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who has made a pointed call for women to mentor girls from disadvantaged backgrounds, while also calling on younger women today to dress more modestly. The First Lady made these comments at an interfaith breakfast on Thursday in Abuja, where she challenged women in public roles to take on active roles in mentorship.
I challenge you to have a mentee with you, so that not somebody you've been mentoring all the time, but just pour into the life of a young girl from an indigent background. You know, help them, even if it is to give a scholarship, encourage them, and teach them good virtue. Teach them how to be good women. Teach them how to dress well. Because we see that our young people, you know, they've really taken I don't read social media, so it doesn't bother me. I will take it again. Teach them how to cover up. And, you know, being naked is not beauty. You know, we don't know why they're doing that. But beauty comes from within, you know. And our men, God will also help them and crucify their eyes.
This is, you know, I tell my daughter, though, being naked is not beauty. But you men, close your eyes.
I was going to say,
close your eyes. It's true. Well, all right. I think that she's a mother of the nation. This is really what it is. Well, shall we now take this feel-good news, shining a spotlight on students of Grange School in Ikeja GRA, Lagos, as they warmed hearts across Nigeria after a video of their Accolades Day performance went viral, showing a choir of over 100 pupils in navy blue uniforms singing the beloved Yoruba folk song, Bata Miadu Ko Ko Ka. Let's take a look. Batameaduko ko kas.
I'll learn.
Yeah, you learn. I know that's why we're here. Batameaduko Coca. But I mean, this is such a beautiful. Yes,
it's a tribute.
It's a tribute.
If you go to school,
yes,
you do well. You can buy a good shoe.
Very well said. On that note, I'd love to thank you all for a great analysis on what's trending today. You all have a great weekend, and Grange, congratulations. I loved that song. Batamia Duko Koka. Well, that's all I have for you guys on what's trending today. I'll see you all next week.